He was about 8. He said to me, I prefer shoelaces. Velcro is a ripoff. He laughed. He laughed, you guys. Hey. Okay. Today we present to you, and you thought you were having a bad day. Whew, take a deep breath, okay? At the Fitzwilliam Museum in Cambridge, England, a loose shoelace, a lack of handrails, a marble wall, and a stroke of misfortune conspired to give one ill-fated museum visitor an Inspector Clouseau moment. I think we shall keep him nameless, okay? Let's do that for another 12 seconds or so. But it was wild and crazy, let me tell you. He tumbled down the museum staircase and brought a shattering conclusion to the earthly pilgrimage of 3 Qing dynasty vases. After hiding from embarrassment for several days, a Mr. Flynn delighted reporters by recalling the events of that fateful afternoon. You gotta love this guy. His misadventure began with the realization that he had ascended the wrong staircase. So he swung gracefully around to come back down, and in so doing discovered that he had lurched forward when he trod upon his untied shoelace. I was trying to grab hold of something, he told the reporters, but I couldn't stop myself. Hurtling towards the vases displayed on the windowsill, he thought, I will only shatter the first one. It was a noble thought, but it was not to be. Although I knew the vase would break, he said, I didn't imagine it would be loose and crash into the other 2, he said. I'm sure I only hit the first one, which then hit the others like a set of dominoes. Well, the dominoes, which had been intact since the 17th century, were valued at $175,000. I can say with my hand on my heart, said Mr. Flynn with his hand on his heart, that it was not deliberate. A spokeswoman for the museum said that the vases had been displayed on the windowsill for 60 years before Mr. Flynn's unfortunate visit. And I'm going to tell you a little more about the fall of Flynn in just a minute. But first, I imagine you've had a bad day or two yourself, have you? A friend sometimes says, just because today is a bad day doesn't mean tomorrow won't be the worst day of your life. Oh man, what a friend, what an encouragement. I prefer the advice of something my wife hung on the fridge years ago. Sometimes bad days remind us that we have good ones to look forward to. Back in 2005, Dr. Cliff Arnall, a British psychologist, devised a formula to determine a really bad day. It involved no museum trips, just variables including that time of year when gloomy weather nips at our heels and mounting credit card bills slap us around. He declared the 3rd Monday of January the worst day of the year. I'm not going to argue. Well, even for an optimist like me, the bad days arrive on sunny days too. None of us is immune to circumstances, phone calls, tragedies. That's why we might want to set our GPS on Psalm 118. In it, the writer mentions his distress. He's fearful. He's surrounded by hostile nations. Enemies want to take his life. Now, I've had some bad days, but none quite like that. So how can he say in the midst of it, this is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Are you kidding me? No, he's not. He chose to focus on God's goodness and mercy. Smacked around by trouble and pain, he wrote, in my distress, I prayed to the Lord, and the Lord answered me. The Lord is for me, so I will have no fear. What can mere people do to me? Give thanks to the Lord, he says, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. You know, your calendar and your circumstances may label this a no good, horrible, very bad day. Your Creator says, talk to me about it. Have no fear. I'm with you. Choose gratitude in the midst of this, and the joy will come. As for Mr. Flynn, well, it took experts 6 months to reassemble those vases, and they are now back on display in a special case. Reportedly, he was banned from the museum for some time following his fall. Sorry for laughing, but you kids out there, you listen to your mothers, okay? You do up your laces, or choose Velcro, even if it's a ripoff. Maybe you're wondering how long I've been in this white room. They won't let me out till you push that subscribe button. Please, please. Ah!